2,000 was the amount of people who lined up this past weekend at the Kansas City Zoo for hours on end to get a sneak peek at a totally empty and still unfinished penguin exhibit. The story actually captured some national news, with MSN's website pointing out how Kansas Cityans must have amazing imaginations if they're willing to wait so long in such large numbers to wonder at a big roofless hole and concrete slabs at a penguin enclosure with 0 animals in it. Zoo director Randy Wistoff, it must have made you happy, though, that so many people are willing to be there for something that's not going to open until October. Is that correct?
It's going to be October. I think maybe this May snow is fitting to not only for our polar bears, but bringing penguins to Kansas City. It was amazing, the number of people that showed up. The weather was just absolutely terrible. It was rainy and cold and damp and chilly, and we had 2,000 show up early, and we ended up almost 4,500 for the day, Nick.
So give us a sense, though, of what people can expect, though, when the penguins do come in October. What is this exhibit going to look like?
Well, I think everybody is just enamored with penguins. Everybody loves them, little tuxedoed little creatures. They are so animated. I think they capture everybody's heart. What people are going to see is a very unique exhibit, world class, up by our carousel. It's going to be close to the front gate. It's climate controlled, a lot of fun, restrooms, easy access. But what they're going to see as they approach the building by the carousel is an outdoor exhibit that has some warm weather birds, some temperate birds that are Humboldt penguins. They're going to have indoor-outdoor access, and that sort of sets the stage for the exhibit.
Now, I did see that your director of living collections said that this may be the best exhibit in the country. Come on, Randy.
He's not biased, Nick, at all. It's really going to be a great exhibit. We tried to do something. Every zoo director tries to do something different as we're designing our exhibits. And penguins need a pool of water and some artificial icebergs. But we've tried to create some viewing opportunities, some distances. Having indoor-outdoor with our warm weather birds, I think, is pretty unique in the way people will be able to see them in the summertime. When it's warm out, they like to be outside. When it's cold out, they like to be inside. You'll be able to see them 362 days a year that we're open. When you go inside, that's really where it's pretty special. We're going to have 3 aquariums inside the building, displaying moon jellyfish, some schooling fish, and a coral reef. Then you see the penguin exhibit itself, and it opens up into 100,000 gallons of chilled water on an iceberg, snowmaking machine, and there'll be an underwater viewing opportunity right in the big rotunda as you enter. But then as you progress through the building to exit, there's different viewpoints that create viewing opportunities that are a little bit underwater and then totally underwater. By the time you leave the building, you're totally submerged looking into the penguin exhibit.
And the penguin exhibit will feature overnight sleepovers for families and scouts, wedding dinner receptions, bar mitzvahs, corporate events.
And
so you're going to be sleeping with the penguins?
Yes, very close. A unique opportunity. We do it with our polar bears now. You can sleep in the polar bear viewing building. So this will be another opportunity to enjoy the zoo all hours of the day, different events, a lot of fun things.
Now, you mentioned the polar bears. You're still getting a lot of attention for the polar bears, and that's mainly because you've got a second new polar bear called Berlin, and I believe, while this may not be the correct zoological term, they are dating, and the goal is to make more polar bears. Is that correct?
Ultimately, yes. Berlin came to us kind of an unusual way that she arrived here in Kansas City, but we were happy to take her in. She's a 23-year-old bear, never had cubs, but there shouldn't be any reason that she can't have. We have our little 7-year-old Nikita, our little rock star, who's never been with a bear other than his mommy, and all of a sudden he's got a new roommate, a new homie, and they weren't getting along very well, and then she started exhibiting signs of heat, and the dynamics changed. And they did date, and we'll just have to see what happens. We won't know until late fall, early winter, whether we were successful.
Now, is that actually a difficult thing to do for polar bears?
It is. There are not that many breeding pairs in the country. And I think last year there was only 1 cub born in the entire United States in zoos. That was at the Buffalo Zoo. So it's rare when it occurs. We want to try and contribute to the polar bear population that's in the United States in zoos, so we can tell the story about conservation and the things that the polar bear is sort of iconic with. And we would just absolutely love to have a couple little furry polar bears run around the zoo.
Now, while people come to the zoo for animal antics, there have also been some human antics that have been capturing the headlines too at the zoo. Disturbances, arrests as police call to the zoo. Those were some of the headlines you've also been having to deal with over the last several weeks. This involved the free day at the zoo, one of several you offer every year to residents in Jackson and Clay counties as a thank you for passing a 2011 sales tax to support the attraction. We know how the Country Club Plaza is having to deal with teen troubles. Are you now also having to rethink security at the zoo as a result of some of these incidents?
I think the biggest issue, Nick, is the zoo is fairly small. Everybody thinks it's really big, but when we put 25 to 30,000 people in one day, it just seems to sort of burst us at the seams. I think what we're going to go back and do is not do anything to change free day other than maybe have it at a different time, different days, so that we try to attract the number of people that the zoo can adequately handle, which is closer to probably 15,000. So we're going to have to make some adjustments on everything that we do. It's still a learning experience, but we want everybody to be safe, our animals, employees, our visitors, and changing a little bit the way we do business is just part of that.
Now, there was some talk at one point I saw online about whether there would even be a free day anymore. You're still going to do those?
Yeah, that did not originate at the zoo. We have an obligation to the taxpayers that voted for our zoo tax, and we will honor that commitment. We just want to make it better. It was very successful. The thousands of families that were there just had the time of their lives. There were a lot of people there that had never been to the zoo before, and to see little kids' eyes light up the first time they see the polar bears is worth putting a lot more energy into figuring out how to make it a very successful day. So that's where our energy is now.
Now, you came to Kansas City from the Omaha Zoo, and people think, oh, that's a fabulous zoo. When you came here, you wanted to bring penguins. That's now going to happen in October. So when that occurs, what's next for the Kansas City Zoo? Would you have done it all?
No.
No? What's left? What other animals do you have to bring in?
My
Randy?
list is so long.
Really? What is next?
Yeah. We've got some things that we want to go back and do that need to be done a little bit better. We don't have a real good outdoor orangutan yard. Our elephant watering hole needs some work. We want to replace the old ape house up behind the Discovery Barn. That whole area needs to be refurbished, redone. So we've got an exhibit we're going to call Predator Canyon that will occupy that space. We want to bring an indoor-outdoor gorilla facility, a giraffe feeding station, a kids splash zone, and that's just my short abbreviated list.
Now, does that take tax money to be able to make happen?
That will take a combination of the tax money and private contributions. Our board goal is to raise at least 20%, 25% of each of the capital projects that we undertake, raise private funds to supplement. When we did polling and we're running our campaign on the tax district, one of the questions was, do you want to see the new exhibits that will make this a world-class zoo that we can compete with Omaha and St. Louis? And a resounding yes was the answer by everybody. So building the exhibits and having a zoo that attracts more people. We had an all-time record attendance last year of 825,000 people. We were around 400,000 when I started, Nick. So we're pushing that up. That's giving families of the Kansas City metro area something to do. It's bringing in regional tourism. So we've got a long ways to go, but we feel we're on the right path. And I think by the attendance and the use of our programs and campouts and education, everything that we're doing and being utilized, it's kind of telling us you're on the right track, you're doing the right thing. Keep it up.
When you go into your parking lot, half of those license plates, though, are from the Kansas side, and yet it is the Jackson and Clay County voters that paid for the sales tax in 2011. Is there an effort to get Kansas taxpayers to support the zoo's attractions?
It's been discussed. It seems like a pretty daunting task right now. It isn't something that we say we will never try and never
because
attempt to do.
It's not considered possible?
I think in these economic times, the current kind of condition of legislatures, timing might not be really right, but we get a lot of comments from Johnson and Wyandotte County residents saying, why don't we get the discounts? Why don't our school kids get to come to the zoo free? Why can't we get in for half price memberships? So the benefits are really what people are noticing and using, and I think someday I hope it happens, because then we'll have a better zoo with more people that can use it.
Randy Wistoff, Zoo Director, thank you so much for being